So I've had a ton of requests for this video, and I'm going to make a really quick update for you guys on this Dodge Dart. So I'm going to start off by saying that this video that I made specifically is for the 1.4 liter multi-air turbo engine. I don't know anything about the 2.4 multi-air or the regular automatic transmission. This fix specifically for the auto manual transmission, dual drive clutch auto manual transmission. Break it down like this for a second, okay? Say you have this exact same car that I do with the auto manual transmission. All right, think about this for a second. Your transmission's bad on your car. That's what it's been diagnosed as. That's what the screen is saying. It's saying service transmission or gear unavailable. But again, think about this for a second. Manual transmissions rarely go bad. I mean, extremely rarely go bad. So what do you think would be the main issue with an auto manual transmission? Very first thing I thought was the automatic portion of the manual transmission is not functioning properly. So that's why, let's go ahead and peek under the hood here. That's why I realized that when my car was not shifting right and said gear unavailable, the first thing I started out with was checking out the TCM, making sure that module was good, which it was. We checked everything from the way it operated electronically, making sure all the circuits work, to the pins themselves for the connector to make sure those were good. And you know, obviously I put this car back together, so I can't really show you a whole lot, but I am going to explain to you what I really did here. So the valve body, as I call it, the hydraulic actuator system that sits on this front of the transmission, that you can clearly see if you were to take all this out. If you have your car apart, again, you'll know what I'm talking about. That is the automatic portion of this manual transmission. Everything you see there is what's controlling this manual transmission. So if you're having a problem, 9 times out of 10, when it says gear unavailable and such like that, you're having an issue with that automatic transmission hydraulic actuator system. Now, when you take it apart, there are several bolts, I should say. I don't remember exactly. I can see one actually right now. I see one of the bolts. If you can zoom in on it. There are bolts that go all the way around the entire unit. It's pretty simple. I mean, really, if you're mechanically inclined, you'll look at it and you'll see a bunch of almost like reverse hex looking bolts all the way around the unit. What you're going to want to do first is make sure all of the hydraulic lines are disconnected from the actual hydraulic valve body unit itself. Then you're going to go all the way around. Once all the electrical connectors and hydraulic fittings are removed, there should be 2 or 3 hydraulic fittings. And again, it's very easy if you're mechanically inclined. Just look at it, and once this is all taken apart, look at it, you'll figure it out. It's very straightforward. I did not see any videos on this. Take the bolts out all the way around the entire unit, and you'll go ahead and you'll grab it and you'll pull it right off. It comes right out, and you're going to look at it, and more than likely you'll see a melted sensor, like a range sensor on the inside, like I was showing in that video. Or you have maybe one of the other sensors are bad and you can't even tell just by looking at it, but internally it's got a sensor problem. Again, 9 times out of 10, because this is all electrical with this valve body hydraulic unit, it may not look bad, but it is bad. So what you're going to do is go to eBay. By the way, when you pull that unit off, someone asked me about the gasket. The gasket is actually a Loctite. It's like a red Loctite sealant. And they, as far as I can tell, they do not make it anymore. It's not at any auto parts store. You can order it through Mopar. I wasn't going to do all that because I couldn't get it right away. It took forever. So when I took the hydraulic unit out and I got my new one on eBay, as you have 2 options with the replacement valve body unit. You can buy a brand new one from Mopar, special ordered, that's going to take a while to get, more than likely $2,200. And that's why when you take your car to, you know, the Dodge dealership, they tell you, hey, we need to put a whole new transmission in it instead of just that hydraulic valve body unit, because for $2,500 or $2,600, $2,700, you can get a whole new transmission versus just replacing that one unit for $2,200 plus tax and all that. So it only makes sense for them to tell you you need a whole new transmission. This is, again, why you have to pay attention to this video and what I'm explaining to you, and you can save yourself some money. So my suggestion to you guys is you need to find a parts car that has the same setup, that has a good transmission, maybe the engine went bad, whatever. Pull that unit off, or go on eBay, and there is a guy who actually parts these cars out. I bought the same hydraulic unit from him for about $500, and you need to find a used one. You need to go on eBay. There's usually one a month that I've noticed that pops up. I've been keeping an eye out. There's one of these hydraulic valve body units per month that's posted on eBay for $500 or close to it. There's a guy trying to sell them for $1,000 a piece. Don't buy from him. He's price gouging. Don't buy from him. Look for the guys who are charging like $550, $500. Buy from them. And make sure they have a good seller rating. Anyway, when you put the thing back together, what I did is I used RTV silicone all the way around the gasket surface, and I stuck it back together. I've never had any leaks. It's been perfectly fine. This car now has 13,000 miles on it since it wasn't driving and it had that gear unavailable light come on the dash. This car has been great for 13,000 miles. I've driven it all over the place, out of the state. It's been a great car. Really, this is pretty simple. It took, you know, honestly, I can't even say it's simple because it took me hours and hours and hours of research to figure out what I'm telling you guys right now. I knew none of this. There were no forums online. There were no write-ups, nothing about this whatsoever. I had to figure this all out on my own. So I'm making these videos to try to help you guys out to figure this out. That way, you know, your car doesn't end up in a scrapyard when you can fix it yourself and not have to go to the dealership and pay like $2,600, $2,700 for a trans plus all the labor. If you guys have any more questions, I think I kind of covered most of what the questions were that I was being asked. If you guys have any more questions, again, you're more than welcome to leave a comment. I will make another video if need be. Hopefully this helps some of you.